So let's talk about the thread API. And the thread API is actually asynchronous. It's an asynchronous procedure call, meaning that when you call create thread, the caller should continue execution and does not wait for a return. That's the default behavior. But then if you want to wait for the child thread, then you basically have to explicitly call thread join. Wait for the uh, children threads that were spawned to come back before you basically do anything. And that might be basically for because the parent is waiting for some results or something. Creating a thread is a different operation from scheduling a thread on the kernel. And by the kernel basically. So you create a thread, but that doesn't mean that the thread gets actually scheduled on the processor when it's created. It's just created and kept somewhere and being ready to run. So let's ask a question. How many times can thread join be called for the same thread? So how many times can you call thread join for the same thread? Let's give an example. I want you to actually take this example and run it. I had a suggestion before to make the slides available for you beforehand so that you can copy and paste from the slides. The slides are now available on Cambro, so you can just copy this example and try it and see what happens. And I have another question for you. What is the minimum and maximum number of threads that can exist when thread 5 prints hello? So you have basically an iterator that prints something and prints basically the number of threads, right? And each thread, I mean, you have 10 threads created in this example, and basically you you start you spawn them and you wait for them. So you spawn them in thread create, and you wait for them in thread join, and you basically then in each thread you go in here and do this. You print hello from thread and print your own thread number. So the question is, what is the minimum and maximum number of threads that can exist when thread 5 prints hello? And let me ask you yet another question. I had a comment from someone that basically wanted more questions per segment, and this is yet another question for you. Is this output possible? Basically, can 105 print the return before 102? That's another question actually. So let's go back to fork and join parallelism. Threads can create children and wait for their completion, as we have seen, and basically the data is only shared before the fork and after the join, or after the join basically.